Diddy's going to be in jail for the rest of his life. I think he's probably going to get.
Think he's in a saying though?
I don't know. I don't even think it matters. I mean, it's a lot of it is.
But then it's just another Epstein. It's another Ghislaine
cases.
Maxwell, where somebody gets indicted and nobody else indicted for to
right
no
to,
one.
to no one. Right.
Joe Rogan just dropped a prison fight video involving Diddy, and the streets are not prepared for what it appears to show. Word is the footage captures the exact moment things got physical behind those prison walls, and Rogan is not holding back about what it could mean. If this is the real deal, the man who once commanded every room is now fighting simply to stay on his feet. The clip shows the exact moment things became physical inside Fort Dix, and Rogan is not sugarcoating what the footage appears to reveal. A man who once controlled every room he entered is now caught in a confrontation that ends with him being placed in solitary. The decision came down clearly: isolation for at least a month.
Well, I got a phone call yesterday that Diddy was placed in solitary confinement because he beat up a man. I was told, literally, the phone call was, hey, Diddy choked the man out. He was placed in solitary confinement yesterday, July 23rd, around 4 o'clock p.m. And he'll be there for at least 30 days is what I was told. I reached out to Diddy's team. At the time, they knew I was calling, but they still trying to figure it out. They said that they don't know either way, but they didn't dispute my phone call.
What happened though?
So all that I know and all that was mentioned to me, I don't know every detail. Literally, though, I said why. They said, sometimes people think that they can play with him. And I don't know if it's because of all of the reporting around the case or if it's because he's a big celebrity and, they think that he's used to being, protected. But I was told people think that they can play with him. And we've told people don't think that. And
I told people 1,000,001 times.
Yesterday,
Diddy,
allegedly.
I mean, we laugh at Diddy and all that, but Diddy's not a sucker. I've seen Diddy grab people, yoke people up in clubs, with security there. Diddy's no sucker. Diddy's, he's with all the it.
The streets are saying it could have started as self-defense. An inmate talking reckless, bringing up old history, private details, current rumors until everything finally sparked. In a place where loose talk spreads quickly, that kind of confrontation can explode within seconds. Either way, solitary is where he ended up. That fight footage did not surface on its own, but came alongside a whole batch of leaked prison clips that Joe focused on heavily. The first group of videos shows the everyday reality behind those walls. Diddy landed in a unit packed with around 20 other men in an open dorm-style setup. No private cells, thin mattresses, barely any pillows, shared bathrooms with nothing but thin curtains, head counts throughout the day, early wake-ups, every move monitored, harsh conditions, and overcrowding. Still, the power moves continued. The streets claim he was paying other inmates for privileges just to extend those 15-minute phone calls, make three-way calls, and stay connected with people outside the approved list. But none of that prevented what happened next. The environment stayed hostile from the beginning. The first facility was the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. Thick walls, every sound echoing like a warning. Dude woke up with a knife at his throat. An attack before they transferred him out. That alone established the tone. Folks who have been inside already said everybody moves around with a blade. The streets were not surprised when footage of that early pressure started circulating. They moved him to Fort Dix, thinking a lower security facility might calm things down. The testing continued. Other inmates sizing him up, thinking celebrity status made him soft, but Diddy was known to grab and yoke people even when security was standing right there in the free world. That same energy followed him inside. While the physical threats kept piling up, other clips began circulating that painted an even darker picture. People saw him looking thinner. Early talk blamed the private chef lifestyle disappearing, then the food footage started making rounds. Maggot-infested trays, inmates refusing to eat. But the streets moved past the diet talk real quick. Word is the drained look and weight loss came from something heavier, an acute STD, allegedly HIV. Folks saying Diddy had been getting down with DL inmates, no protection available whenever they wanted, and the virus spreading among the jailbirds is the phrase making rounds. Dudes fighting over who makes the bed, who gets close and earns approval. Full fan club energy behind those walls.
What was your daily life like in the Fed prison? Because Feds is different from state.
Pretty much different. Constant lockdown, constant stabbing. They are like very, very, very high and strict on respect.
According to you, the inmates are fighting over making his bed.
Yep. Well, really, according to Lisa Evers, I want to give her credit.
That's why he wanted to get out, so bad. But I think that they're gonna railroad Diddy. Do I think that they're maggots in the food? I mean, I won't trust anything when you of the stature of Diddy. Do I think they give every inmate maggot food? Probably not.
All the baby oil bottles Diddy was hiding just got recovered from his Los Angeles mansion, and we got it all on camera. First off, let's start by saying Diddy had over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and Astroglide just in that mansion, and this is just one photo out of many. Here, you can see the library mentioned by the Homeland Security agent during his testimony against Diddy. This here is Diddy's nightstand, right next to his bed. If you think there's a lot of Astroglide there, wait till you see this next one. You're gonna be shocked. In this photo, it's all the Astroglide bottles still in boxes in his garage. They also found a backpack full of baby oil.
And if those rumors hold up, that same reckless pattern from the free world followed him straight inside. Then the next video that hit them both hard revealed the emotional crack. Clive Davis gone. The man who allegedly opened the real doors early, shaped more than just the music side of the empire, and pulled strings from outside once the charges came down. Reports from the leaked footage show Diddy breaking down badly inside when the news reached him. Wailing like the last real lifeline had finally snapped. Clive had reportedly been working angles with the mother and legal team, according to Street Talk. Other industry names had already completely distanced themselves to avoid going down with the ship.
Mr. Davis, you were a major influence on the career of P. Diddy. Have you spoken to him since the federal raid? You were a major influence on his career. Have you spoken to Sean Combs? Any comment, Mr. Davis? What do you make of the allegations against P. Diddy? Any comments about Diddy? He credits you as one of his mentors.
Breaking news from the world of entertainment. Legendary record executive Clive Davis has died. The music industry titan helped sign massive artists like Barry Manilow, Pink Floyd, shaped the career of Whitney Houston famously, even the boss, Bruce Springsteen. Davis was 94 years old. So,
while all that prison footage is making the rounds, JoeRogan is also putting another batch of clips on the table. Videos and reports showing Leonardo DiCaprio making visits connected to Diddy's situation. That is the part that sent the internet into a frenzy. Why would one of Hollywood's biggest stars still be anywhere near this situation? According to Rogan, the answer could trace back years, long before the headlines, lawsuits, and investigations. For years, Leonardo and Diddy moved through many of the same celebrity circles. Photos, event appearances, red carpets, after parties, plenty of footage showing the two together at high-profile gatherings. Back then, nobody thought much about it. Today, people are viewing those exact images through a completely different lens.
Who's the person that's number one on that invitation list?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
And I can get on that list,
yes,
right?
Without a doubt, you are invited.
Rogan has repeatedly discussed how powerful celebrity networks function behind closed doors. Not necessarily accusing specific individuals of wrongdoing, but questioning why certain names continue appearing around major scandals long before the public starts paying attention. When people began revisiting Diddy's celebrity connections, Leonardo's name kept coming up. Being photographed with someone is not proof of anything. That distinction is important.
I think there's so many fucking powerful people that are on those lists. There's so many powerful people that went and partied. Air quotes, partied. And how many of them went to the Diddy parties? Have you been paying attention to the trial?
Oh, yeah.
Trials. Wild. Wild.
Why don't they air it the same way they aired the coverage that,
Johnny
Depp got?
But critics online are not focused on just one photo. They're focused on the pattern, the repeated appearances, the proximity, and the connections stretching back years. Then it gets darker. DiCaprio has faced online discussion about alleged inappropriate behavior involving young people. Joe is asking, what could he possibly be discussing with someone who is not of legal age?
Leonardo DiCaprio going out to a 19-year-old? Like, bro, what do you talk about?
Yeah, what do
you talk about? Unless she's the most genius, brilliant, world-traveled, nuanced.
That is why the conversation refuses to disappear. Every time another image resurfaces, people begin asking the same question all over again. How close were they actually? And how much did people within those circles know about one another? In several interviews over the years, Leonardo spoke positively about Diddy, describing him as someone who hosted legendary parties and brought people together. At the time, comments like that seemed harmless. Today, they land differently. Not because they prove anything, but because public perception has shifted. Once a major controversy enters the picture, people start re-examining everything that came before it.
Filed your income tax returns yet?
No, I don't do my taxes.
Oh.
My mom does them for me.
Is mom reliable?
My mom's very reliable, yeah.
That's right. Good. Now, would you like a steak dinner? Can we get you a nice, big, thick steak?
No thanks, Dave.
Tell me a little bit about your name, if you don't mind. Leonardo DiCaprio. It is a very rhythmic, very poetic sort of sounding name. Very nice.
Well,
lovely
thank
name.
you. Thank you
Is
very
there a
much.
story about that? Your parents have something?
Actually, I do have a story about my
Let me hear.
Meanwhile, some observers notice something else. As the headlines surrounding Diddy intensified, Leonardo mostly stayed away from the conversation. No major public campaign, no lengthy interviews addressing the controversy, just distance. Supporters argue that is exactly how he should handle it. Critics see it another way. They believe public figures who spent years around powerful industry figures should be willing to answer reasonable questions when major scandals surface. Joe Rogan's broader point was not necessarily about proving who did what. His focus was on a culture where powerful people often move through the same exclusive circles for years while outsiders know very little about what actually happens inside them. Then there is the speculation that Diddy still has alleged recordings from the so-called freak-off events and may still have leverage over people. Word on the street is that Leonardo has even been making visits. For years, Diddy moved like he was untouchable, throwing those legendary parties where power, money, and secrecy mixed heavily. But according to the rumors, he had recordings, tapes, and potential leverage involving a lot of major names.
Those people who was caught at Diddy party did not know that he had 250 tape recorders in that house.
That kind of dirt gives a man leverage, but it can also make him dangerous when everything starts falling apart. Joe is suggesting the elites could not afford to let him keep moving freely. Once the feds raided his properties and the stories started pouring out, the powerful names connected to him allegedly got nervous. They could not risk Diddy flipping and revealing everything he knew, so they cut him loose. The same theory people have pushed about how Epstein was handled when he threatened to talk. Diddy got hit with everything they could throw at him. Federal raids, leaked videos, lawsuit after lawsuit. The machine moved quickly once they decided he had to fall. The pattern is hard for critics to ignore. Epstein was silenced before he could fully speak. Diddy was buried under charges before his full list could supposedly come out. Now the man who once controlled those rooms is sitting in Fort Dix, fighting just to stay standing, watching the same elites who partied with him continue moving like nothing ever changed. Put the fight video beside the other prison clips, the reports about Leonardo's visits, and the elite sacrifice speculation, and the picture starts looking less like isolated drama. A knife at the throat, continued testing, a physical confrontation ending in solitary. Health rumors the streets refuse to let die. Outside support breaking down when Clive left, and visits from one of Hollywood's biggest names that created more questions than answers. Online critics have been going wild. One user put it this way: Diddy sounds like Kodak up in there, saying anything to get out. Another said, they trying to do harm to Diddy like R. Kelly. Spotlight on you. How deep does the isolation go when the man who once had the entire industry on speed dial is now fighting inmates and watching old friends keep their distance? What else could be sitting inside those leaked clips and visit logs that has not fully reached the streets yet? And if the elites really did cut him loose to protect themselves, how much longer before the same pressure that allegedly put him in solitary starts reaching the people who supposedly ordered the silence? What do y'all think? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our next video on the end screen.